Welcome to D.A.P. The Perspective. I'm your host, David Adams, and here we have today with us, we're going to get right into it. We have the young lady by the name of Christina Freeman. Yes, the young lady from Jersey City, raised, born here, and everything. She is running for the mayor's position right here. Say hi to the people, my sister.
Hi, good morning.
That's what's up. Could you please do me the favor, share the page, like the page, and go over to YouTube and press subscribe over there, okay? We're almost at 1,000 subscriptions, so please be the one to help me get there. We're at 8 and some change. Much love and respect. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here we go. First, I want to say good morning to everyone. I appreciate you chiming in to all the shows that I've done since the beginning. And for my day ones, much love. You know who you are. Much love and respect. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this exclusive interview with Christina Freeman. You know, this particular position as the mayor is, there's a lot of people running for it. There's a lot of people going for it. First of all, I want to get a background on you. Can you tell us a little about yourself, your journey, and what happened? What inspired you? What happened to inspire you to run for the mayor's spot? That's a big spot.
It is. It is a big spot. However, I'm up for the challenge. Just a little background about myself. I grew up.
Hold on for 1 minute. Let me just check this one more. 1 minute. All right, say something. I don't think I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Am I speaking loud enough?
Yeah, you're speaking loud enough now.
Okay, good.
Yep, there you go.
I'm a lifelong resident here,
Right.
and I decided to go into policing at a very young age, and I was introduced to that through the PAL program, which was brought into my high school, where officers came in and introduced the idea of going into law enforcement. I'm a student. I'm up at NJCU. Shout out to NJCU.
What you going for? What you
sociology,
okay.
The study of systems and
Nice.
how they affect us on a contingent basis. I didn't go to school right away after high school just because of financial reasons with my family. And, I've always worked hard. I've been working since the age of 16.
Oh, wow.
Just because I'm a police officer, I'm not only a police officer.
Got
There's
it.
and behind it.
Also,
And also. Correct.
No doubt.
I'm a children's book author.
Nice.
I'm a mom. I'm active in the community. I've been a part of the different organizations out here, Bless, United Rescue. I went to business like entrepreneurial school with Rising Tide Capital. I'm alumni there.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit about my background. Born and raised here.
Wow, that's
Freeman,
a
Hutchison,
bold
Butlers.
move.
Those are my folks.
That's a bold move. She said, "I'm running for mayor." And how old are you right now?
I'm 37. A lady never tells her age, but I'll tell you today.
No doubt. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I'm proud to even know the fact that you said, you know what, I'm going to run for mayor out of just nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I'm going to run for mayor because why not?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who are from here, or originally from here, they shy away from it because of the aspect of them not knowing what actually a mayor does or the processes to even get to the point of being a mayor. Of course, the traditional route is, you run for some type of office in terms of council, and then you go for mayor. But my thing is, I respect that route. However, you don't have to,
Okay.
It's about the support. It's about understanding policies and procedures and just being for the people and doing the best thing for the people that's out here. So if you have it in you and you're nervous about running for some type of office, just run. Because
Yeah.
at the very minimum of it, you're going to have experience. So the next time you go for it, if you don't get it that go round, guess what? You operating from a space of experience, and you're operating from a space where many people would never step into that space or that arena,
That's what's up.
So it takes a lot of courage.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Were you afraid at first, kind of, timid because, you haven't did any political work or things like that, although you did work with a lot of nonprofit organizations and things like that in the city? Were you kind of timid just looking at that possibility and knowing that you're going up against some big wigs? You know what I mean?
You know what? At the end of the day, we all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Right.
Much respect to them for the years that they put in and the knowledge that they have, not to take anything away from that or, to come in cocky, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm not scared. I'm from Jersey City.
Yeah, I noticed that about you. It's like it's
I'm
like
fearless.
you're so confident.
I'm not gonna say that I'm fearless, but
you can say that.
I can override my personal feelings, because when you understand how the body works and the brain works, your brain is always going to try to keep you safe. It's always going to try to keep you safe. However,
natural default.
Yeah, by natural default. So sometimes you have to override those things in order for you to get the greater good, or to accomplish more, or to get to that next level in life, everything that we're comfortable with now was once upon a time uncomfortable.
Right.
So you just have to really move out of that comfort zone and step into that space. One thing about me, I've always been one to reinvent myself. I can reinvent myself like tomorrow.
Nice.
I have no problem understanding or learning what's needed to be done to get the job done. And then once I learn it, I excel at it. And then I put my own little spins into that and make it into my own, and that's one quality about myself. You don't have to show me. All I got to do is see it, and I'll go do the research myself. And when I go do the research and do the digging, it's done, and that's the power of just having access to the internet and information that we have. It's of abundance, but you have to know what it is that you're looking at, the facts and the fiction, and you have to determine what's facts and what's fiction.
When you told your family and friends, I'm running for mayor, I mean, something like this has never, they may have never seen in you to actually say, I'm running for mayor. What was their response?
Well, they never seen it in the family. Let's start there.
Got it.
I had very mixed responses. My mom, I didn't even tell my mom. I just brought her up to City Hall. I dropped my kid off at school, and I would call my mom. I said, Ma, be dressed by like 10 o'clock or something like that. And she's like, okay. So I come grab her, and we drive up to City Hall, and she says, she's not going to say anything, but I know she's like puzzled. Like, why
the hell we here?
Yeah. What's going on? What you doing? So I walk in, and I go into the city clerk's office.
Right.
And one of the clerks comes up to me, and they're like, "Oh, Miss Freeman, you're the candidate that's running for mayor." And my mother's like, oh my gosh. So it was just like, a shock factor.
What was her words? What did she say to you after the fact as y'all walking out of there?
She didn't really have no words, because she know when I put my mind to something.
Oh, she knows you like that.
Yeah, it's done. And most people who are close to me understand that about me. That once I put my mind to something, I don't really care about the naysayers or people like, oh, well, how are you going to get it done? Or are you going to get it done? But, that's a big task. That's a big this. That's a big that. Yeah, I understand what's up, but I believe in myself, and I believe in the power of God and the strength that he gives me, and the knowledge and the wisdom that he gives me to be able to, take on whatever the challenge is.
Wow, you up for the challenge. That's what's up. That's a blessing. Yeah, so what personal experiences have most, it shaped you in leadership style? What personal experiences actually shaped you for this leadership position, do you feel?
Ooh, I've had a lot of experiences of stepping into the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just start off at my humble basis of being a member at Universal Full Gospel. I
Oh,
started
okay.
off in the church,
Gotcha.
being a youth leader, um, just stepping into the various roles in that arena, being the announcer within the church,
Mm-hmm.
being a member of the choir, and then growing up to actually direct the youth choir,
Wow.
being a nurse of the pastors that and the ministers of the church. Then we want to step into the school arena at St. Anthony's High School. I was
Wow.
always like one of the picks to go and speak at the public events, the
Wow.
golfing outings, the fundraisers,
Okay.
moving into just the role of policing,
Oh,
even though we have
so you're a police officer? That's right. You're a
yeah,
police
I'm a
officer.
police officer. Let's shoot
Wow.
it.
Okay.
No. But even being in that, even though there's a ranking system, there's still leadership.
Right.
You have to be held to a higher standard. And, I think that I've always made sure to meet and exceed that standard in terms of being a leader, and
doubt.
in addition to like just being a leader of my family and my friends, just somebody that they can look up to and aspire to go
Right.
further than me. I have nieces and nephews. I got 11 nieces and nephews. Even within them, I watch them. My nephew Peanut, he just graduated.
Right.
He's like one of the first ones to graduate from college with honors. So it's just like my actions causes a chain reaction. So I want to make sure that I'm in a space of leadership and setting the best example. And, I'm not perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. Show me the perfect person and I'll show you the perfect fool.
Come on.
But,
Talk.
I hold myself to a standard.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, was there a moment when you realized public service was your calling?
I always was a servant.
Mm.
I always was a servant. From childhood, I always made sure to cater to my parents, clean up the house.
Wow.
I've always was a servant. I always had a heart to serve the people. I always cared about people. I always, just put myself on the back burner to make sure that things were taken care of for others before myself.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's a blessing. So I guess yes, I can tell your mom's definitely proud of you.
Yeah.
What about your siblings, your brothers, your sisters? You have any brothers and sisters that's backing you in this? And are you how are you run? Are you independent or?
I am independent. My siblings are proud of me. I've gotten feedback from them in regards to me running. They like, yeah, we got your back all the way. We're super proud of you. Even my neighborhood brothers and sisters, they're very proud of me in terms of me taking a stance and actually running. They haven't seen it amongst our own, so it's a bold move.
Yeah, definitely a bold move. What about your favorite or your best friend? What was your response to your best friend? I mean, the one that you rock with, that really rock with you.
It was like, girl, you are fearless. But I love it. They know that's me. I dive in. I wouldn't say I don't have fear. I do have fear.
Right.
It's just that I know how to navigate in that, especially with the profession that I'm come from. You're gonna run into a lot of scary stuff.
Right.
But you still gotta get it done. You gotta get the job done. So she was very supportive and enthused about my next venture.
Nice. That's what's up. That's what's up. Wow. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I know she was definitely shocked.
Yeah.
I know she was shocked.
Yeah, but they know me. They know my personality. When my mind gets into a space of, all right, this is what I'm doing, I'm very determined and very stubborn in that way. Like, this is what I'm doing. And either you're gonna be with me or I'm gonna see you at the end. Like,
I know that's right.
You're gonna catch up with me.
You see him at the top.
Yeah, right.
So, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing our city today, and how do you plan to address it?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. There's a lot, we have the housing issues that's here.
Right.
People can't afford to stay here. And then you have people that are displaced from their homes. You have the mental health issues. You have the homelessness. You have the violence. Like, it's a lot to unpack in that space. You can't solve all those problems overnight, but you can start with supporting those who are currently doing the work and making sure that they get the tools that they need to help assist in serving the people. That's one of the things that I do intend to do, is support the organizations that are here that are doing the work, but they need extra resources, such as grant money and just resources, spaces where they can actually host whatever it is that they need to do for the people.
Right.
There's a lot. Like, that's a very loaded question.
No doubt,
and
doubt.
not in the budget within the city itself.
So how do you plan to address it? How do you plan to address those challenges?
Well, it starts with support. I believe in supporting the people that's already out here doing the work, and then putting in checks and balance systems to make sure that they're running how they're supposed to be running, and making sure that they get the tools that they need to do the job that has to be done out here.
No doubt. So public safety is a top concern for many residents. What's your plan to make our neighborhoods safer, being that you're coming from a policing mentality? How do you plan on making things safer here?
Well, you have to get the people involved. I support police and community engagement. One, that's how you build, trust and connection. And then also you can empower the people. Like, I would love to create a community committee that's geared towards, like they used to have the neighborhood watch program.
Right.
What happened to it, So I would love to reinstate that, to where they work alongside with the captains of the different districts, in addition to the council person for the ward, and create like a community safety committee, because you can't be everywhere at the same time. And the answer isn't flood the street with police. The issue that we're having right now everywhere is being able to hire police, and not only hire police, to retain them, because you have a lot of police officers that feel unappreciated, by the administration, and then also the community, whether it's facts or fiction, but this is what it is, so we have to reinstate the morale between the community and then also within the police department itself.
No doubt. Okay, good answer. All right. How do you plan to promote economic development and bring more jobs to the area?
Well, you gotta have businesses that are businessing. You have to support.
That's businessing. I know that's right.
You gotta support what you have here.
No doubt.
Big corporations are nice. However, it takes away from the small business owners. So the small business owners need help too. If you support them to where they can hire staff, now you have, a small business that has 2, 3 employees, maybe 4 employees to help them run their business. So in return, you're helping the small business stay open. And then on top of that, you're employing someone. So I would say, to start where we bring in businesses, small businesses, support the small businesses that are here as opposed to like pushing them out, not giving them or fining them, overtaxing them in terms of, just for like violations. So it's like, it starts with support. Once you fix one area, the other area will naturally flourish.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to set up businesses because of the crime in certain areas, but if you put more people into that space or funnel more people into that space, the crime is likely to decrease because there's more people populated in that space that's utilizing that space. So you have to create things. Well, I would create things to where people can actually utilize and want to be engaged within the streets and within the city, and make the businesses want to set up shop to where they want to hire people, and then provide those businesses the support that they need to, pay the people,
Right.
and just keep their doors open.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Good answer. Okay. All right. Okay. Housing affordability is a major issue. All right. What strategies would you prioritize to help residents afford to live here?
Well, the quickest way to wealth is home ownership. I myself, I don't have a home yet because I can't afford one. Everything is so expensive, especially in Jersey City, to own. So I would implement, for those who are renters, because some people prefer to rent. If they need assistance, there's money out there. You have the HUD program. Hopefully, that doesn't get cut.
Right.
With all the changes that's going on, and some other programs that are out there that's meant to help people who are behind on their rents, or even like assistance in down payment and closing costs. I would definitely open up or I believe we already had one, but to up the closing costs, contribution that we give to first-time home buyers,
Right.
and then also to provide aid to those who are struggling on their rents.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and also to develop like affordable housing,
Right.
or mixed income housing. That's
Right.
another area that can work too.
Right.
But in the meantime, in between time, for those who are currently, renting, they would need
Hold on for
some.
1 minute. Hold on. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they would need those type of supports and systems as well.
Right. Okay. What are the 3 immediate changes you would push? That you were pushing the first 100 days. First 100 days. What would you push when you're in office? The first 100 days. What's the immediate things you're going to do?
Well, we got to see what money we're working with. Okay, so everybody's getting audited. We gotta see what we got. You can't spend money you don't have, right? You shouldn't.
I know that's right.
So
From the hip. I know that's right.
yeah, we doing audits. Like the first 100 days, however many days we gonna get that done. And then it's not to say that anybody's doing anything wrong or anything bad. It's just that you got to know what you work with so that you can know what you can do.
Right.
The next course of action is support the youth.
Right.
We have to. It's an African proverb to where if you, how does it go? Is if the children don't feel the warmth of the village, when they grow up, they'll grow up to pretty much burn the village down.
Right.
So it's like that's what we're seeing here in Jersey City. Because these children haven't had the support growing up, whether it's the support of their household because grandma raising them, or because mommy is out working all these hours and not home, or
Right.
Mom and dad are out working, to provide for the household. And we don't have the sense of community anymore. We don't have people out here looking out for the community. Everybody's just like, oh, I'm going to go into my house and mind my business. And I'm not going to say anything to that kid because I don't want that kid to cuss me out, So it's like we got to get the youth back.
Right.
We got to get the youth back. In a way, we betrayed the youth. We turned our backs on them. And we have to go back and reach for them and say, you're important. We love you. We support you. We're here. Yes, you're going to make dumb mistakes, but it doesn't have to be the end of the world. And how can we help you in your next step and help you to have dreams and visions and goals? Because a lot of the youth that I get to talk to, especially like whether it's through my course of policing or through, mentorship, some of them don't know what they want to do and what they want to be, So it's like we got to start at the basics. So I would definitely support the youth. Audit, support the youth. And the next thing would be very basic, very simple. Fix the doggone streets. Like, these streets is crazy. Like, the potholes throughout Jersey City is absurd and disrespectful.
Do you think they're not doing a good job right now in these streets with the,
Do your car think that they doing a good job in these streets? Like,
potholes
these
everywhere.
potholes is crazy.
It's almost like a game of dodging, dodging big holes. Like, you know what I mean?
I've seen people like that. While I'm working, I be like, I understand, boo. I understand why you driving like that. Like they distracted. No, they try to dodge the pothole.
Right.
Like,
that's deep.
Fix the potholes, clean the streets. Like, it's little things that can enhance the quality of the life of the residents here, of the people who call Jersey City their home. So it's very basic, like it's deep, but little small changes lead up to the bigger changes and improvements that we want to encounter here.
Okay. How would you ensure your administration is transparent and accountable to the people?
Well, you got to get the community. I would love to have the community to work alongside with government. That one builds a relationship and transparency and also gives them real-time feedback of what's needed out here and, how can we make improvements and also in return for the people in the community, it gives them the realness because some people really don't know what government officials do. They be like, oh, they think they can do this. And when actuality is just like, no, they don't have the power to do that, or that's not how that really works. So, that would be one of the things. We got to make information accessible. Yes, we have the city site. However, the city site has a lot of information. So I would create like maybe some sub sites to where it's directly what it is that you that you need to for whatever, whether it's like pay a ticket, report a pothole or whatever the case may be. I want to simplify the government verbiage, because there's a lot of fluff words or big words in there per se that the common person would not understand. If they're not in that field, they don't understand. I don't understand accounting terminology. So why is it written as such? It's available to the public, but I'm not no accountant. How I'm going to understand this? So just to simplify a lot of the verbiage and just making the information more accessible to the people to where even if you create an app, it's like minimum things that can be done to help with that.
All right. What role do you believe women's leadership plays in shaping better policies in the community?
Ask that question again.
What role do you believe women's leadership plays in shaping better policies in the community?
In shaping better policies. Well, let's go to basics. A lot of the time, the households are ran by the women. They keep the order of the household. The man is the muscle. He provides to the income of those households, if there's a man there in that household. But the women are the ones that can figure out the solutions to, or I don't want to say like a softer approach to the solutions, but like real solutions to the issue that's at hand, or get to the root problem to where it works for everyone. You're not going to make everyone happy, but you can find real solutions in real time that actually work. So women contribute in that aspect. Women are really good with balancing and multitasking and being able to just get the job done.
That's what's up. That's what's up. How do you plan to engage everyday citizens, especially those who feel disconnected from local politics? How do you plan to get other people involved?
Well, you got to make it attractive. You gotta get out there. You gotta do things like this. Get on podcasts. Create podcasts. Create platforms where people can engage. You have social media. Social media is your biggest asset when it comes down to getting information out. Do more of those type of things in terms of what's going on in government, specifically in Jersey City. You see all of the candidates are doing these little snippet videos. You can do that, and it doesn't really cost any extra to do that, I would just say get social. Yeah. Get social in every aspect of it, whether it's in person or whether it's on social media.
Makes sense.
People can reach you. The information is accessible.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So your leadership often requires tough decisions. All right. How do you handle criticism and difficult choices? So sometimes you get people that's going to really come at you. I think positions like, leadership like mayors and, councilmen, councilwomen and things like that, you're going to get a lot of people to say a lot of different things and criticize. So how do you, plan to handle those criticisms and difficult situations?
All right. Well, I'm no stranger to it already. I'm a police officer.
Right.
So we deal with criticism on a daily basis. I can only control me. I can't control anybody else, so I would make it a point, or I'll make it a point to what I already do is make sure that I am in good spaces and of a sound mind and, consider the things that's being said to me. I don't have to be receptive to all of them, but just to consider them, because sometimes there is some truth in the things that are being said. So, you're not always right. Nobody's always right. Nobody always has the most recent information, because information changes over at a rapid rate. So I would just say, approach everything with humbleness and just make sure I'm having a good space day, because I'm human at the end of the day.
No doubt.
People are allowed to have bad days. They're allowed to have bad days.
So, who are your role models in leadership? Who are your role models in leadership, and how have they influenced you?
Well, Viola Richardson.
Okay.
The late Viola Richardson. As a young child, Viola took up time with me. I guess you would say she was one of my mentors.
Okay.
And before she passed, I had the opportunity to sit down and just speak with her in regards to, being in policing, because she comes from a police background that actually ended up into politics. And I would have never thought that I would have ended up into this space of politics either. So she would definitely be one of my top persons. My dad, which he passed away in 2021. My dad was ex-military. My dad was also a minister at Universal. He was also a counselor at C-Line. C-Line up on MLK. So a lot of my qualities and traits, I would say, came from him. I look highly up to my father. Big influence in my life.
Okay. Well, I hear your compassion.
Thank you.
I hear your love for, your dad right now. I could see when I spoke about your dad, your whole emotion changed.
Yeah.
So
Don't make me cry.
Yeah, he was definitely. I could tell he was definitely a big influence in your life. Yeah. What are some of the things you remember about dad as a little girl that inspires you till this day, that make you go hard, like you're going hard for this position of being the mayor?
Oh, you made me cry.
Hey, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's all good.
All right.
My dad would always say to me, G, you are so strong. You are so like brilliant. Like I have watched you reinvent yourself. I have watched you, and he would be nervous. Like my dad would be nervous about the things that like I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna support her.
That's deep.
Wow. He always encouraged me,
Right.
my writing skills. Like as a child, I struggled in like just writing or remembering like sight words and stuff.
Right.
And my dad would audio record those things for me. And I use those tools today.
Wow.
As an adult, even being back in school now, I use those tools today to learn and to study, to write, to see it, and, repeat it.
Right.
Down to the academy. My dad showed me how to shine my shoes. Like I would never forget how to shine my shoes. It may not seem like much, but it's something that I would carry with me for the rest of my life. So yeah.
Wow.
That's deep. Big influence. My dad was a girl dad all the way.
All the way.
100% girl dad.
If he can see you now and like you said to mom, I'm running for mayor, what would be his response?
He'd be like, really? Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he would be proud. He would be proud. My mom and my dad are two. My mom is like very externally, excited. My dad would be like, all right, well, what made you make that decision? Like, okay, well, what it's gonna take. You know what's gonna be required of that. Like that was my dad. My dad was my easy parent to just be able to just sit down and just be me, the quirky me, the upset me, the wild and crazy me. He was the person that I can just be me, without judgment.
Wow. What sets you apart from other candidates? What sets you apart?
Well,
she like, duh.
It's very clear. No, I'm just joking. Well, I'm a people's person. I love people. I'm real. I'm me. It doesn't matter what position I'm in. Again, you wouldn't know that I'm a police officer unless I told you.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know when I spoke to you. When I spoke to you before, I didn't know that.
Because they come with a certain aura, energy. Don't get me wrong. I have a very strong command of presence.
Right.
But I'm a person, and people don't want, per se, politics anymore. They don't want that. They don't want a normal human being. They want robots. They don't want robots. And that's not to take anything away. It's because when you get engulfed in what you do, that's what you do, and that's not to take anything away from them. It's just that you have to also have that balance. You have to also have that balance. So one thing I pride myself in is maintaining that balance. And how I maintain that balance is by getting out and just being amongst the people, socializing with the people, and, just keeping that human aspect of me, because I don't ever want to be a robot. Like, I become mayor, this is what you're going to get. Like you're going to get a hug. Right. Even though it's a little dangerous depending on who you're trying to hug, but you're going to get the real me. You're going to get a genuine person that's addressing your problems with, sincere and care. That's what's up. If you can describe
your leadership style in 3 words, what would it be?
Direct, transparent, and original.
Mm, I like that. I like that. I like that. You're a little different. You're different. I think I've seen you once before. Now that I think about it, I think I've seen you in Lowe's.
I used to work
years
there.
back. You used to work at Lowe's. Okay. And what was your position in Lowe's?
Well, I started off as a cashier.
Okay.
And then a year later, I became a head cashier, which is a supervisory position.
Okay.
And then a year after that, I became the SOS credit coordinator.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anything you got into or involved with, you always rose to the occasion.
Absolutely.
You always seem to,
absolutely.
You know, wow.
Absolutely. You got to have people that appreciate what they have and what they see. You know, it starts with the appreciation, acknowledgement, and then you move forward. I never put minimum effort into anything that I put my mind to.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. If you have any questions for Christina Freeman, the young lady who is bold and running for mayor in Jersey City, man, you can come on and ask us some questions if you like.
Don't beat me up, guys.
Yeah. You can call in 973-433-5666. Let's go to the chat real quick and see what they're saying. So Barbara Jenkins says, what do you do when you have a serious problem with nursing facilities and you are a registered voter, and your loved one's life is in grave danger and you're reached out to everyone. You reached out to everyone to no avail. What would the next step before your loved ones? Let me see this real quick. I had cut off real quick. What would be your next step before your loved ones possibly unalived?
One, you need to report it. You need to report it to the proper channels. Within that facility, you need to find out who's in charge.
Right.
Don't just say it, send it in writing.
Well, to her defense, I recently did an interview with her if you don't know that, but I did a recent interview with her and I actually seen, literally, she brought the receipts to the podcast like this of writings, signed, delivered, sealed, all them little green cards.
Did she contact the Board of Health?
Everything. She done wrote everybody.
Oh, that place need to be shut down then. You know, like if you wrote everybody, people got to be held accountable. You know, it sucks that we're in the time to where nobody wants to be accountable for what's going on. It's like, you know, everybody's so too busy to take a moment to provide a solution. You know, I don't have the answer to that, but
okay, that's honest.
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that. I would have to really sit down and look at it a little more in depth to see what other channels could be used to bring noise or bring awareness.
Right.
Don't ever sleep on the power of social media. Okay.
Wow, that's deep.
A lot of times,
I told her the same. I think I told her the same thing when she first was going through a lot of stuff.
You gotta bring attention because a lot of issues get swept under the rug because they know everybody's busy. Everybody's bombarded with so many issues. So yours does not get to the top of the pile. So sometimes you gotta make noise, baby. You gotta make noise. You gotta make noise. Make noise and rally your people behind you.
Right. Yep. She said she also included writing and getting in contact with, including the VP, Governor, Senate, Congress, etc., etc.
Make noise. TikTok is your biggest asset. Okay? Social media is your biggest asset. Start making noise.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good morning, Barbara Jenkins. Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. If you can like and share the page, it's much appreciated. Those who are watching Even if you're not watching live, if you see this video later on, please do me the favor and share and like this page. We have a bold young lady from Jersey City,
Jersey City.
Christina Freeman, man, is running for mayor. She has no background in the political world, but bold enough to put her bid in. Say, you know what? I'm going for this. Barbara, from just hearing Christina today, would you vote for her? Because I know you was basically, what you've gone through with your mom and some of the facilities in Jersey City. I remember hearing you say in the interview we had, I'm done. I'm done with this political thing.
And I'm sorry as
Yeah.
well. I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through. And just understand that you're not alone and keep fighting. Like I said, get out there, make noise.
Would you vote for a Christina? Would you vote for a Miss Freeman, 36, 37 years old, man? Bold, confident, went down there and said, hey, I'm doing this because she's compassionate and she sees what's going on with people. She's compassionate about people. She have a love for people. Would you vote for her? Yeah. All right, next question, Christina. What's one thing voters might be surprised to learn about you?
Um, I'm a children's book author.
Okay.
I'm a children's book author. I'm self taught in terms of graphic designs. If you follow my social media page, the video that I just put out, I did the video. I actually edited and had someone to record it for me. But yeah, and I can roller skate.
You can roller skate? That's what's up. I wasn't expecting that one. I was not expecting that. Real talk. So I'm going to put the number on the screen real quick, and I want you to call in if you want to call in. Barbara says she wants to call in.
Okay.
I guess she's going to call in regarding her situation with her mom and some of these facilities.
Sure.
973 433 5666. All right, I'm putting it up there now. Okay. So you can go ahead and call in now, Barbara, if you like, 973-433-5666. And we are waiting for your call, okay? Much love and respect. I'm going to ask her another question while I wait for you to call in. All right. So the next question would be, oh, playing no games. She got something for you.
I love it. I love it. Come on.
Word up. Okay. 1 minute. Let's see. Hello. You hear me? What's good, Barbara? How you feel? Good morning. Rise and shine, Queen. What's good? Right. But the thing is, she's running. She's fresh. She's new, and she's trying to make a difference. So, uh, I can say be light on her because.
She don't gotta be light on me. She can give me what she got
Okay,
because
give it
I
to her.
understand her
Barbara, give it to
frustration. So go
her. Give
ahead.
it to her. All right.
Okay. Hmm. Christina. Yes. Okay. 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 Mhm. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay.
Right, right.
Right. Question. Have you been to the news? Have you been to the news?
She been to the news. David Adams podcast.
No, 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 no. I mean, like,
I love you.
yeah, yeah, TV. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. I believe you. Yes. Mhm.
You said
Mhm.
that too. Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
Of course. Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. Right. Right. Yeah.
Mm. Wow. What was their response? What was their response on the generated letters? Wow. Wow. Right. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Hmm. Mm. Which, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. Mhm. Right,
All right.
right,
All right. Let me interject. Let me interject. As I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm watching Christina, and what I see in Christina, you listening. You didn't interrupt. You didn't. It's like you're actually listening. What's your response to a person like Barbara Jenkins? Because there may be a lot of Barbara Jenkins in this world or in this city. What's your response?
what I would say is, I see you.
Mm,
I see you. I hear you, and I'm listening. I don't have the solution, but I'm willing to help you with what it is that you have going on and had going on continuously, because that's not right. That's not right. They, they can watch it, but I'm being a human, because I think what again, people tend to give more power than what a person may actually
mm,
have.
mm,
And that's where the disappointment comes into play.
mm,
So we have to know what people can do and what they can't do, what's in their power and what's not in their power, and scope of their job duties and what's a human duty.
mm.
That I would approach that in more so of a human act and duty to try to find a solution for you. In terms of government, I'm a police officer. I don't have much to offer in terms of helping in that arena. And even with that, my hands are tied in certain things that I can and cannot do.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Right. Mhm. Mhm. So my question is, did you go and seek some legal counsel or? Uh-huh. Welcome. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Mhm. 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 That's what I mean. Right. That's yeah.
I'm going to tag them.
Mhm. Right.
But think about it. Somebody busted his head.
Don't nobody care about that. Nobody care about that ever.
Busting the head situation for real. Like you got busted in the head, Barbara. That shit hurt, Barbara. That shit hurt. She ain't thinking about your mama, your grandmama, your king. Hey, she takes the blood in her head, her nose.
No,
I understand though, right?
yeah, yeah. Right. Yes. Right.
You gonna vote for? You gonna vote for?
I could respect it. She's not voting for nobody.
Nobody.
She already said that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. All right. Right. Got it. Okay. Okay. Mm. All right. Mhm.
Yes.
Well, as Christina said, Barbara, we see you, we hear you. We appreciate you calling in. And if anybody wants to know the story of Barbara Jenkins' love for her mother, you can go to the exclusive interview with Barbara Jenkins, um, Daughter's Love versus the System on YouTube. Please subscribe there and hear the whole entire story in reference to Barbara. Thank you for your call, Barbara. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Love you. Love.
No, I don't take it personally. Yes. And I agree.
Much love. Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Barbara, for your call. Appreciate
Um,
it. Christina,
yes.
calls like this, people like this, you're gonna come in contact with
Mhm.
on the regular. You ready for the challenge?
I'm still up for the challenge. You know,
Hmm.
I deal with this as much as people think that all police officers do is lock people up. That's not the case, you know. Like we deal with this,
Right,
we deal with this, and it really comes down to what solutions are available and what can you help the person with, you know.
right,
Sometimes you can help and sometimes you can't, and help meaning like provide a solution to or a remedy to what it is that's going on, you
right,
know.
right.
But you know, don't ever stop fighting for what you believe in. Don't ever stop fighting for what you love, because like they say, the squeaky wheel gets the
Hmm.
oil. So make noise. It's frustrating. I know. I know I can't go into detail about my personal experiences right now, but I see
Right.
you.
No
I see
doubt.
you.
No doubt. Much love and respect. Well, we thank you for you chiming in once again, Barbara, and I want to thank you for coming on,
Thank you for having me.
Christina, because you're showing your boldness, man. It's a
Thank you.
blessing that
Thank you. Thank you
you're
for
running, you're
having
trying to
me.
make it happen. So much love to Christina, and we hope you
Wait, I
do
got
your
something
thing.
for you.
Oh, for me? Oh,
Where them
wow.
fans at?
Okay.
Where they at?
That's
There
dope.
you
Let me
go.
say thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, wow. Christina for Jersey City Mayor. Okay, November 4th, vote 2025. That's nice, man. A little picture of her as well on there. That's dope. Okay, let's see if it pop right. Okay, and the pop. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Much love and respect, man. Thank you for chiming in. You have been dapped. Much love and respect.
Much
Peace and
love.
blessings. See you guys soon.